Yes, like I said, there's no framework in Barbados. I don't even think there's any Caribbean for CLT. Um, I do believe there is room for it. However, we do have some form of land being offered to persons of low income, which will be through national housing, and also through the Tenantries Freehold Purchase Act will be properties that were on plantations and other types of properties that are offered to persons after they've lived there for over 5 years. They can own the property for up to, I believe it's very, very cheap, $2 or $3 a month. They can own that property for very less than that period of time. And we shouldn't get carried away by the real estate in Barbados spoiling the island in that way, because majority of the real estate in Barbados that's sold to those millionaires and people overseas is the real estate on the coast, being the South Coast and the West Coast. People that are looking for affordable housing, we shouldn't be trying to look for that housing on by a beach. It should just be somewhere that's adequately equipped with electricity, water, and provide good housing. And we have plenty of those places in the middle of the island, from St. Lucie, St. George, St. Thomas. And then on the East Coast, there's some places that will be available and adequate for persons who would need that land and that property. There's also, I don't know if any of y'all know, there's also National Trust in Barbados. I didn't add in my things to do in Barbados, but one of them is hiking. I hike nearly every Sunday with the National Trust in Barbados. I have a hiking association, and we go hiking, and it shows you different parts of Barbados. And that National Trust is organized to keep the heritage, what you have heritage sites in Barbados. They are run and protected and by the trust itself. So no persons can purchase them. They're funded by the government. And if there could be some, as you said, one of the panelists mentioned, it's also about not only about housing, but also those particular spots that have great heritage and great history in Barbados that can be preserved. So there's room, I believe there's room for CLTs in Barbados. How easy it is to get there is another question, because Barbados, as you know, we are governed by, we have freehold. We have the Freehold Act, which allows a person to purchase property, whether you're local or not. Persons can also lease, and there also the Trust Act, which allows a person to an organization to handle trusts for the management of anything in particular: land, property, income. And the only problem would be to try to tie those interests together and have some sort of framework that could be legally backed. But I don't see any room for not having it in Barbados. Anything is going to be beneficial to Barbadians, especially something like this. I can't see there being much pushback.